Hi, this is Joel Gabe. The Hamilton Bulldogs and Syracuse Crunch played tonight, November 9th, at the Bell Center. The Crunch won 4-1. The first star of the game was Tyler Johnson of the Crunch. He had 2 goals. The second star was Andre Palat. He had 1 assist. And the third star was Steve Quayler of the Bulldogs. Now, for the Bulldogs, I was impressed with Tenorti and Beaulieu. They had a good game. Lots of pro upside there. You could see it. Clearly, the best player. Well, 2 of the best players for the Bulldogs. I also thought Eunice Natanen and Dumont had good games. Lots of smarts working hard out there. Steve Quayler had a very, very good game. He scored a great snapshot on a 2-on-1, and he was implicated both, physically. He was good offensively, defensively. He made a couple of good dekes. He made some good passes. Overall, he really had a very good game. Robert Meyer had a good game in net for the Bulldogs. He kept them in the game as much as possible. They pretty much could not muster any offensive momentum at all. They only had I think they only ended up with like 13 shots, which is horrible. Gallagher, you saw flashes of his fearlessness out there, a little bit of his skill, but he's not big and he's not extremely fast, and it doesn't matter how fearless you are. If you're small and you can't skate very well, you're not going to make it at the NHL level. Not to say he won't make it at the NHL level, but I don't know if he'll ever be an offensive force if he doesn't improve his foot speed. Aaron Pelushai was invisible, particularly after Blake Geoffrion got hip checked by J.P. Cote. For Syracuse, Andre Palat had an excellent game. He's a 7th round draft pick of the Lightning in 2011. He had 96 points in his second year in the Q. He's a big player. He's a left winger. Used his size, his skill all night. He pretty much dominated them, the Bulldogs, physically and skill wise tonight. Deservedly second star. Jean-Philippe Cote, former Bulldog and Canadiens property. He had a very strong game for the Crunch. He was an assistant captain, an A for them. He had a stabilizing influence on that game. He did lots of big hits. The Crunch just literally crunched the Bulldogs tonight. It was men against boys out there tonight. They were imposing themselves so much more than the Bulldogs physically, and you could tell that that team had been playing together longer than the Bulldogs. They were pretty much out-coached and out-executed tonight. Dmitry Korobov, a Russian defenseman, he was signed in 2012 by Tampa Bay. He's a big defenseman. He played for Moscow the past 3 years. He had a very good game. Richard Panik, the Slovakian, he had a solid game. Nothing extremely flashy, just a big guy with some good shooting skills. Mark Barberio, he's from Montreal. He's a defenseman for the Crunch, former second round pick. Good offensively, good skater, good vision. He's got size. He's pretty good defensively. He's pretty strong. I think that he, if the NHL did have a season this year, he could have cracked the Tampa Bay lineup. A very good player. Tyler Johnson, he was signed by Tampa Bay last year. He is small at 5'10", but very fast, very skilled. He had 2 goals. He was first star of the game, and he is now the leading scorer for the Syracuse Crunch. Corey Conacher was kind of quiet tonight. I didn't really see much from him. But overall, the Crunch, outmuscled the Bulldogs. Their game plan was to hit them and not give them any space. And the Dogs were scared. They were giving up the puck. They were afraid of getting hit a little bit. So they couldn't really set up. And after Geoffrion got hit and was taken out of the game, it was pretty much game, set, and match. That's your report of the Syracuse Crunch versus the Bulldogs, November 9th. I'm Joel Gabe.